I've been done with the creative side of my life's work absolutely for certain since last summer. It's worth thousands of millions of dollars if I could make anything. I mean, if I die and my shit gets burned, maybe it's worth nothing. But if you look back and examine 100 years in the future and look back and see all the things that came into existence, which at one point I actually had seen and were not available, billions, billions. I worked for 25 years, right? 25 years. Never have you even said I worked. Never has Chris said I worked. Never has Kirk said I worked. Never. Never. I've never been paid a cent for my work, not even a cent for the work. I get approximately the minimum that I can survive with and then spend my entire life working to deal with immense, unending stress that you very clearly stated as one of the two reasons why you chose to retard me with a life support plan in the first place. One was to find out what I wanted to do with my life. Less than a year. Done. Nothing has really changed. I know, like, basically what I have to do and what it takes to get into a position to be able to succeed with shit like that. And one was to help me figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and two was to lower stress. I've said how many times and never had. I've asked you a lot of questions in life, and I cannot get answers for them only because the honest answers for them, in your opinion, would reflect negatively on you. If you tell me the truth, if you openly admit everything that you think, then you think, you've said this before, I'm gonna have ammunition. And then I would have ammunition where the goal was simply to get a safe and enabled workspace. And everyone you've ever employed has worked as part of a company that had a lot of equipment to work with. Like, I can't, like, if you guys are all wrong about me, right? Like, if it's insane to stop the kids from seeing their family, like the kids, stop the kids from seeing the kids because there's not enough room in a mansion. Maybe a mini mansion, but like, and I have finished my life's work, and I am one of the most honest people that there is. And I was born relatively brilliant. I was given an amazing education. And I just spent 25 years working basically every day for no money and with no respect. My family has never said that I work. But, like, convenience, like, think about what this is. Their jobs apparently are so hard and so stressful that they can't even handle the inconvenience in a huge house of being around their brother. Right? Like, that's what it is, because obviously we don't fit. I buy a fucking $40 tent, not a problem. Their jobs are so hard that they need to come to the lake and purely release in an absolute paradise that for them is basically free. I mean, I know they do some work and help you with things, and I have done that too. I don't like being commanded as much. I was made differently. Chris can handle being given commands. Chris can also give commands, and he's fine with both of those things. And in a lot of cases, to do what you guys do, you had to be. But I'm done with my life's work. All that other shit is true. I don't tell lies. Like, it's just like, I think, so if I don't tell lies and you believe that, you must think that I'm like deeply psychologically damaged and all this shit that's actually my fault, not turning into a normal working person who made 100 or 200 or 500 grand a year. Like, that's my fault. Like, that's all good. You, Chris, and Kirk are all well off, right? You work hard and you get paid pretty well. You are trying to have enough money to live to be 100 years old and never rely on anyone. Everyone that works for you has always had access to tools, the tools necessary to do their jobs and to make a wage at least. And I can't even, I have one pair of underwear and they're stretched out. Like, and there's no plan. It was never described to me. It was life support. I talk about it as what it was. I name all the real numbers. I name the real amounts that are actually available after surviving. Then you tell me do not use the investment money to fill in a hole, but then you don't say anything else. And it's the only choice I have, or just to sit here in bed. And if I'm sitting here in bed, like, I shouldn't be here. Like, you have like money sitting there in other companies, stock market, your own company, multiple houses, Corvettes, airplanes. You got all this like money in different things, and every dollar you give me, you write off as being burned before you give it to me. It's not investment; you're just burning it because the one plan that you came up with for me, you can't admit how bad it was, or and if you do admit how bad it was, then you still put way too much of the blame on me. Like, of course, the way you life supported me wasn't intelligent or adaptive. You didn't relieve the stress, and I already knew what I needed to do. So everything that you said you were doing didn't even need to happen and wasn't happening. But it was what you were already doing, and in the absence of another answer, and with a total refusal to ever listen to or trust me, just stays the same. And by stays the same, I mean you just blame me. And Chris thinks I'm nobody, and Kirk thinks I'm nobody, and you think I'm nobody, because I could die as nobody. I could also live as an amazing person. I got trapped, and you blame me for that. Like, I'm far more expressive and openly honest about shit. I don't, and I still don't know how to blame me for the fact that I begged you, like, hey, I want to invent shit, I want to make shit, and then be an open, like, give it away basically, or everything beyond what I would make, like mom did, but I would have way more, and just literally for 25 years, there's nothing you can, there's no location, there's no time when I was provided for in a way that would make me safe and enabled. And what were you trying to do? Just, I say, if none of that, then you were just trying to keep me alive. No matter what the fuck I went through, it was just like basically just causing me. You didn't want to suffer by losing your son, so you just did enough to keep me alive, so you could mostly ignore me. And luckily, you worked hard enough to make enough money that you can burn 30 grand a year, and then that's it. Like. And again, you say don't use the 2 grand, but you don't say another word. You just forget. And it's not like you're getting younger. You're not going to become younger, and in 10 years, you're not going to be 65 years old. You're going to be 85 years old. And at 85 years old, you're not going to even understand anything I'm saying. Like, you don't even seem to very often now. And like when I say, you say trust what? Like, trust to do anything. Like, I have to basically, everything I get that's not like microscopically cheap, I have to ask you first, which means we have to make a discussion. I have to realize that you don't trust me, that there's a not underlying understanding in context either. So what the answers that you're gonna have from me are answers that are like, oh, like back in the day, a mobile, I mean, you call it a mobile home office studio. Like, to you, that's just a horrible idea, even though it's a great idea because it's simplistic, it's basically safe. I drive anyways. I've gotten into some small accidents. It's usually some utterly clusterfuck because I'm sitting in a truck where all I can do is turn to the right and look at a laptop that's overheating because there's literally no accommodation made for my work at all, except for that I'm kept alive, and no explanation is made after the fact of how there's any understanding of the fact that you know that you don't like invest. You think you're going to take my laptop away and a computer away from me, and I'm going to survive? I'm just like, no. So it's not. It can't. I use it for work, but it's necessary to live. It's not an investment. And an investment is something that you get back, right? An investment is something you look to get back. So when I say there's no investment, it's like you literally said, oh, I'll give you something, I'll help you, but I'd like you to actually pay it back. And not, oh, we'll give you $1 less a week for fucking 500 weeks in 1998. Like, you think I was doing great when I lived in the bedroom at Chautauqua after? I mean, it would be nice if you actually got this far. That would be amazing.